Hello everyone, this is Pastor Purple, and today I'm quite excited because normally, or at least for the past few months, I have been too exhausted to do a video, but today I'm very excited, so I get to do it. So some of you have asked in the past, how do I use my journaling books? How do I journal for sermons? How do I actually do that? And so today I'm going to share with you this journal that I am making as my sermon planning. I use every medium known to humans for sermon planning. So if you saw my room right now, not only is there enormous bookshelves, but I have open 2 computers, a tablet and a phone. I've got a Bible, a commentary, everything's going at once. And so I'll do a little tour of everything, and then I'm going to show you how I set up my journaling pages, or how I set up a new journaling book for sermon notes. And of course this is for my research, so this is slightly different than what you would do for taking a note during a sermon, but I think it's a good discipline to see the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes for us, the amount of work that goes into making a sermon. It isn't just divine inspiration into my brain and then I just walk out and do a sermon. This takes time, preparation, energy, reading, and normally a sermon can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours all the way to a whole entire week. If not, some sermons have been known to marinate for months. So if you're doing a new topic, let's say, you could be researching for quite some time and reading a variety of sources to get the correct interpretations of scripture, to understand the context properly, to look at the language, the original language, and to have that time. And so each element takes a lot of time. So when you see your preachers, and some people say, oh, it's only an hour's work on a Sunday or a Saturday morning, the truth is that it takes many hours to get to that point, and we also have other jobs as pastors on top of that. So very interesting. But I do want to get onto the journal, because this is one of my favorite things to do, is to take a diary and turn it into a beautiful place that inspires me to write all my notes for a sermon. And because I'm setting up a new one this week for the sermon that's coming today, in fact, that I'm recording for, what is the program? Make Up Your Mind. Program on being beautiful. I thought this was a good one to share with you because it's actually inspired what happens next, which will be a book and some other stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to switch and show you what we are going to look at today. So firstly, I want to show you the kind of setup. So that's my computer, the tablet, the screen's off, the study Bible I have here, and also this is a Bible commentary. I'm going to go through these on a separate video because these two, and if you see here a sneaky, you can see another laptop sneaking under there, not to mention an entire pile of supplies. But this is what I want to show you today. So what I do every year is I buy diaries that are out of date. You can see this one is from 2019. I'm not quite sure when I bought this. It could be in 2019, may not be. But I buy beautiful diaries that I like. And the ones that I like tend to have, let me just show you a page, a place where you can write quite a lot. Sometimes the columns are like this, sometimes like this, but where you actually have a lot of space to write, but that space is broken up with individual boxes. I really like this style because it helps me to structure my notes. And so then what I do to update it is I take the original page. So I'm going to put something here so that I know which year we're working from. I like ring bound because I find that quite easy to work with. Myself, I find that when you have a bound one, sometimes when you're really heavy user, you will know that sometimes the pages can come free and then you're stuck trying to repair your book. So the first thing I do is amend the front page. The front page looked a lot like this. And so of course I've just customized it. The underneath you might be able to see, I don't know if you can see that, but it was what year it was and that it was a diary. But of course I've put down that we're doing sermon planning in this. And so what you then do is I'm going to change these pages, but it's good to keep in mind the special days, even if they're on the wrong day of the month, you can then get a sense of what's happening during the month of which you're preaching. So that's always really handy. So you keep in mind current events, current things that people are working on for preachers. That's particularly helpful, but for yourself, it could be something different. And this is really easy to do. What you do is you take the month that was originally there. So this already had some stuff in, and you put on a piece of washi tape, and then I use this really great old pen I have to give this fun effect. And then I simply, you see how faded these numbers are? So you see how faded they are? So I simply took a biro and just rewrote the numbers on, and then put in things that I'm doing. So this is the preaching appointment that we're currently working on. It's the beginning of the month. Very helpfully, I've put in the dark side, and there'll be some other stuff I add later. And then here at the bottom, because this is what I love about these types of diaries, I can then put in anything that I'm working on, any projects that I'm working on. And I can also put in the new and any notes I want to make. And so this is the new book that's coming out soon. The Princess Warrior versus the Identity Thief. And I'm looking forward to this one. I've written it down slightly differently here because this is my original notes. And so what you then have is you'll have a page like this. And you'll think to yourself, well, how is that useful? Because it has on a date that I don't want. It has on days that I don't want. It might have on numbers at the side. So here is how I adjust all of those factors. So what I do first and foremost is I love the glitter. I love the pretty. So I take a washi tape and I cover over the numbers that go along the side. And sometimes you run the numbers go along the top and you run the washi tape there, but you can do that. And then wherever there's weeks or days, I take some stickers and I just cover those over, because what they will form as you're going on is your bullet points. And so I've used a variety of different styles that you can use. In this one, you'll know I've just extended the washing tape at the bottom. And sometimes your notes will be so important that you'll write them onto the washi tape, which is really helpful. And then you've got your perfect pages set up with all of your basics. And so that's the last of the month there, I believe. Yes. And then I will do the same again for this month, which will still be November, but will be in the next sermon. I'll continue to write the dates out so I know where I am and what I'm doing. And I love these affirmations that it has. Hooray, it's today. I think it just encourages you. And then what I do is, for me personally, when I'm writing and planning a sermon, I want to have different talking points. There might be different points that I'm writing. And what's really helpful is I can write them within the box. Now, so I have two options. And what you'll see is I begin to add notes everywhere, because that's the life of a storyteller and a writer. They go, the notes go everywhere. But you will see, and what you'll notice, that some are just within the box lines, but then some of them, you can just go straight through. So you don't have to be bound by the box idea. I like the box idea because it focuses your eye. It helps you to be succinct in what you're doing. So let's say you went to church and you had to write your sermon notes. So this is always great. So pastor starts preaching and you're going to use just 2 pages because that's all you need. So it could be that here you write down the sermon title, the text, the original text, who the pastor is, and that can all go within that box. And then here maybe he brings out his first single point that you think is really good, so you tap that in there. But then maybe you've got time where you're doodling or you're drawing or you're trying to bring those two together, and he brings in a new text. You can write that in here. And what that means is when you get home, if you've just simply noted the text without writing it out in full, you can go back and write the full text. If you've noted the text and noted the idea, you have a space in which you can write these things, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. Sometimes when we see a blank page, we can feel a little bit like, oh, it's a lot of paper, how am I going to fill it? But with the structured pages, they can often give you the nice way of doing it. So this is how I upcycle a old journal. This is from 2019. I think... yeah, I got it from TK Maxx. You can see the old TK Maxx sticker here. Unfortunately, the price is no longer there because I took it off. I think I probably only paid €2 for it or something in the sale. I believe in using the things. And then this serves when I'm writing then the books that come off the sermons, or where I'm writing notes for other people, I can always go back and do this. If my kids want to look at any sermons I've produced, if I want to preach something again, or I'm changing the subject and I want to look at this, I have all these amazing notes that I can go back to and really structure out what I'm doing next and use a different system. So I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you like it, and I hope it works for you. Let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more options.